Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Aaron Dishner from the Better Traders, and here representing Coin Bureau Trading. And with me today on this very special and exciting live stream is none other than BitcoinHyper. Say what's up, man.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Aaron. And thank you again for inviting me on the live stream. Right now, I really think because Bitcoin is trading at such nice levels at the all-time high, today's live stream, I am almost 100% sure it is going to be a very interesting one.
Yes, absolutely. So first things off the bat, if you're watching this on the replay, you are still awesome. Go ahead and hit the like button, leave a comment with what your big takeaway is from today's video. The last time I had BitcoinHyper on, I learned a ton, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to learn a lot from this guy as well. So take out a physical piece of paper. Take out something that you can write on that paper with, okay? Make sure that you're taking notes as we share. So that way you're getting something out of this live stream. Don't just watch it and watch the next thing, watch the next thing. You're going to be learning a ton. I know it. I can guarantee it from this live stream. So before we get into things, first off, for all of you that don't know who BitcoinHyper is, today's a very special day because he's not turning on his camera. But I want to give him a second to go ahead and just share a little bit about himself, his journey in becoming a trader, what brought him into the trading world, all that fun stuff. So why don't you go ahead and just share a little bit about yourself?
I mean, definitely, I think a lot of people would like to know how I actually look like because I have been in the crypto space and also sharing my technical analysis on YouTube for many years right now. A lot of people are asking me, bro, when are you going to do the face reveal? But to be honest, at the moment, I just appreciate my privacy quite a lot. And because you hear on different news that many people are getting kidnapped, many people are getting maybe even killed when they share their, or actually when they publicly show their face and stuff like that. That is why, as of right now, I'm not really doing a face reveal on this live stream, but I am sure we can do some high quality technical analysis today. And yeah, I've been in the crypto space for many years, since 2017. I've been actively trading the markets also for approximately 5 years. And I've been sharing also my technical analysis on YouTube, on Twitter, for also many years.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin. You know, I have a really funny feeling that a lot of people are really curious about what Bitcoin's doing right now, what's going to be happening next. I mean, summer historically is a really boring, choppy period. I mean, it has been in the past. A lot of people are starting to throw out some crazy numbers, some crazy projections. I really just want to turn this over to you and share your thoughts on the market, share your thoughts on where you see Bitcoin going from here. And I'm not going to say anything else. I literally just want to pass it your way. So here we go.
Yeah, so actually a very good point that you made here, with the summer being maybe not the best quarter of the year, because once you look at the Bitcoin monthly returns, you're going to see that the months, for example, of June, July, especially August and September, for Bitcoin, they have been quite bad. And usually, for example, if you look at August, more often than not, it's quite bearish. Bitcoin does usually see quite a significant push down. And also, if you're going to go look at the previous month, or actually previous summer, 2024, you can see that we have seen a lot of choppiness at this area. And also, we got quite a big push down from approximately 73,000, 74,000 US dollars back down to 50,000 US dollars. And I'm almost 100% sure people at 50,000 US dollars, they were definitely scared, and maybe even some of them were selling. That is why right now, when you see where Bitcoin is trading at the moment, pretty much we are at the all-time highs. And you need to ask yourself, if the season of summer is usually not the best one for Bitcoin, for the entire crypto market, would you actually bet your capital and say to yourself, okay, right now is a good area for me to be buying, for me to be entering brand new long positions? Now, in my opinion, it's definitely not the one. And also, again, if you look at hard cold data, if you look at the numbers, usually you don't want to be buying in the month in the months of summer, especially right now knowing we are literally trading at the all-time highs. But of course, guess what? People right now at this specific area, I'm 100% sure they are right now being very excited, maybe even, as you mentioned, throwing out some insane price predictions that Bitcoin is going to pump, I don't know, towards 200, 300, 400,000 US dollars. Of course, everything in the market is possible, but we need to ask ourselves, what is right now the most likely scenario, the most probable scenario, and also how can we position ourselves to actually make money in the market? Is right now a good time for us to be buying? Is right now a good time for us to be firing brand new long positions? Or simply, should we be slightly more careful and maybe even pay ourselves with the long positions? Because personally, literally yesterday, once we took out the all-time high, I was paying myself, taking the profits of my long positions on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, on Hype, and also on XRP. So because we are right now at the all-time highs, you can actually see that at the moment, Bitcoin is seeing a very slight rejection back down. However, nothing significant as of yet. But the thing is, if you look on the Bybit chart, for example, we still haven't really formed another all-time high. We just got literally slightly short, couple of dollars. But on the Bybit chart, there was no all-time high. On the Coinbase chart, on the other hand, and also if you're going to go with Bitcoin USDT on Binance, we definitely formed another all-time high. So what could that tell us? It means that liquidity above the all-time high on some exchanges, it has already been taken. On Bybit exchange, on the other hand, it still has not been taken. That doesn't mean we right now need to see a push towards the upside, but it does mean that if we do see another push up, take the liquidity above the all-time high, and then see a rejection, we talk about a super high probability short or a sell position that Bitcoin can continue and maybe even see a breakdown out of the rising wedge pattern. So this actually brings us right now to the bearish pattern formation on the 4-hourly time frame. I have been sharing my technical analysis on my YouTube channel and also on Twitter for quite a long time. And we have talked about this specific rising wedge pattern, and that as of right now, it could be ending with the 5th Elliot wave. So that could mean if everything right now is going to go according to plan, and if the rising wedge pattern does see a break towards downside, we could be looking for much, much lower targets. And right now, especially for this specific live stream, I want to share with you something that I haven't even shared on my Twitter right here, and also not in my YouTube videos, because I really want to share with you the bearish Elliott wave count not a lot of people are even aware of, why potentially the rising wedge pattern is actually going to play out, and we can be expecting a bigger correction. As you mentioned, Aaron, summer months for Bitcoin, for the entire crypto market, are usually not the best performance. So in a case, the bearish correction is right now going to play out, the rising wedge pattern does see a breakdown, we can talk about the price targets below 100,000 US dollars. I am sure not a lot of people want to actually hear about this prediction right here, but it's just the facts, right? If summer months, the data, the numbers are right now saying to us, be careful. That is why we should really right now talk about the bearish scenario not a lot of people are going to be aware of. And also, if people are right now looking for brand new long or buying positions right here, how does the market work? To react the most amount of people in the shortest amount of time. So for people longing right here, if we do see push down, guess what? They are going to be completely wrecked. So that is why right now we need to talk about a complex Elliott wave correction, talking about the WXY pattern. So with the entire push down, we can identify the W wave. At the moment, with the entire push towards the upside, if Bitcoin right now does see a breakdown out of the rising wedge pattern, we can talk about the X wave right here being finished. And then, of course, because it's a WXY correction, we can be expecting another push down for Bitcoin to finish the entire corrective pattern right here. And only then, after the summer months are going to be over, we can be talking about another all-time high. later, I also want to share with you what is going to be one of the most important volume levels you should be aware of. And of course, if it's going to be broken back down, we can talk a very high probability that the WXY correction right here is actually taking place. So what we can right now do, let's go with our Fibonacci extension levels. We are going to go from our all-time high here back towards the low, back towards the end of the W wave, putting the third pivot at the high here. So right now we are saying if we start moving lower, we should be aware of three very important price targets. 0.618 as being the first one. And you can actually also see it does align very nicely with the recent low. And of course, why are the recent lows so important levels? Because exactly at the lows, there is liquidity, which means people that are holding long positions, guess where they are setting their stop losses? Exactly below the recent low. So we stop them out and potentially, of course, finish our Y wave. But to be honest, in terms of probabilities, if right now this WXY correction is going to take place, we can even be expecting much lower targets, talking about the one-to-one Fibonacci extension at 100,000 US dollars, and then maybe even lower. And ideally, yes, I want this specific low to be taken out at 1.236 Fibonacci extension price target at 97.5 thousand US dollars. So right now the question is, are we going to see a bearish confirmation? Is the rising wedge pattern actually going to see a break towards downside? And also, how low can we actually go if this specific scenario is going to play out? So right now, please pay very close attention. The only level that is, in my opinion, as of right now, such an important one is going to be not the biggest, the highest volume cluster of the entire upper price action. And you can see that this specific area is going to land at approximately 110,000 US dollars. If Bitcoin starts trading once again below the value area high, this is going to be a bearish Bitcoin indication because it's going to mean we are going to be accepted once again below the value area high, but into this specific 70% volume range, which is actually technically speaking a bearish Bitcoin indication. So the only level you need right now on the chart, at least in my opinion, if we are right now paying attention to the bearish scenario, is 110,000 US dollars. If broken, bearish, and yes, to be honest, I would be looking for much lower targets. And of course, that is why at this specific area, we could not only be looking to pay ourselves with our long positions, but also potentially enter another brand new short position. So this specific theory, the entire WXY correction, would actually very, very nicely align with the theory of the summer months that we can be expecting more choppiness, maybe even a bigger correction with our Y Elliot wave. Now, of course, the market can go up, the market can go down. So we can also talk about a bullish scenario. But of course, in terms of the bullish scenario, at least in my opinion, it's not as high probability as the bearish scenario as this bigger WXY correction. So a bullish scenario on Bitcoin would be that not only we are right now finishing the first impulsive Elliott wave and we got a correction right here, but that as of now, we are forming the biggest and most impulsive push toward the upside, which is then going to be the third Elliott wave. For this, we need to break the all-time high with strength. We need to see volume coming in the market. Ideally, we want to see people longing the breakout. And of course, with the long positions coming in the market, we want to see Bitcoin also pushing towards the upside. We don't want to see any bearish absorption. So that is why, yes, I am open also for a bullish scenario on Bitcoin. That is why I haven't really fully closed my long positions right here. However, I am aware not only we are hitting a very important level, we also are aware summer months are usually not the most bullish ones. And that is why in terms of probabilities, at least in my personal opinion, I do think there is a higher chance Bitcoin is going to see a reversal, a correction back down. So the only level right now for you to be aware of, to actually simplify everything, pay attention to the volume level at approximately 110 US dollars. And also then, let's see if we are actually going to change the trend. Because at the moment, on the 4-hourly, 2-hourly, 1-hourly time frame, we are moving in an uptrend. Once we break the volume level, once we change the local trend on the 1-hourly, 2-hourly, and 4-hourly towards downside, quite high probabilities Bitcoin, unfortunately, is going to see a push down. But at the moment, it does look like we are not below the volume level yet. And also, we are still moving in an uptrend. So let's see if we are going to see this specific confirmation. Let's see if the rising wedge pattern does see a breakdown. But once again, even if we continue higher, in my opinion, after such a big push towards the upside, do you really think it's actually logical and it's smart for you to be looking for a brand new buy, literally exactly at the all-time high? In my opinion, not really. I am paying myself with my long positions, and let's just right now see if this specific bearish prediction, this specific bearish pattern, the WXY, is actually going to play out. Again, we are not guessing up or down. We are simply trading once we are going to see some kind of a confirmation, once Bitcoin potentially do see acceptance back below the volume level. Now, to be honest, I would also be quite curious to hear you, Aaron, what you think is actually going to happen with Bitcoin next. Do you actually agree with my thesis right here, or do you think we are just going to explode towards maybe 200,000 US dollars?
Well, I mean, no, not $200,000, not at least right now. You do bring up a lot of good points, and I also agree with you that, and I've been saying it too in my videos, that August and September are historically red months. Now, it's also something to consider is that this is a bull market year, a top year is what I would call it. So thinking about the performance back in 2021, August and September actually were okay. That was when we saw Bitcoin get out of that, 50% drop that happened in 2021 in the summer. In 2017, August and September really started the next leg of the rally up higher. So I'm not saying it has to be this 4-year cycle thing. It's one thing I'm considering, where there always will be an outlier year. And even in a year where you expect it, because every single March has always been bad, there will be 1 year where March is just incredible. But it is something I do consider. Another thing that I'm looking at as well, and I really don't, I appreciate you starting and leaning into this first with the bearish vibes, because it kind of takes the pressure off of me, and I can actually share this idea too. So looking at BTC, the one thing that I'm probably the most concerned about is the fact that we're basically looking at a local double top as well. So yes, I hear what you're saying. If I were to open up a long right here, right at the very top of the all-time high, for one, we didn't close above the previous all-time high at what, $111,000, almost 112. So closing above that would have been a much nicer way to see continuation. I really don't want this to be a double top. If it is, it's a really bad double top and we could go lower. But with that said, the main things that I'm looking at are actually not just Bitcoin. I mean, I have trend-based indicators that are still strong bullish. Volume looks good. On balance volume still looks good. RSI still looks like it can go. But what I'm most excited about right now is stablecoin dominance, mainly because stablecoin dominance has dropped below support. This has been a really, really good chart for figuring out when we can have some potentially bullish or bearish moves. And seeing a drop in stablecoin dominance, especially yesterday, of like 2%, is a really encouraging move to me. So looking at that, and again, I really want to see this fall a whole lot lower. I really want to see stablecoin dominance drop. And if we see it drop below 7.42%, where there's clear support, then I think game on. I think Bitcoin is going to go up higher. But it's not enough to just make a decision off of those two charts. But again, looking at Ethereum pushing up higher, looking at a lot of really bullish price action that's happening right now for Ethereum, and also Bitcoin dominance falling a lot, is also telling me that, yikes, it looks like alts really do want to fly and they want to push, even if Bitcoin's going to be stalling right here. So I agree with you. I am just a little bit cautious, and you're freaking me out with everything you shared so far. But I think it's good, though. I think it's foolish of us to only feed the bias that we're comfortable with, and only take in the information that we think is best because we are focused on our outcomes. And I think it really is important to learn as a trader to take in everything, even if it's the stuff you really don't want to hear, because maybe you're missing an angle, maybe you're missing information you didn't see before, maybe it's a new analysis technique. whether it's Elliot waves or like the volume profile that you use, which I don't use either of those. So just giving me another perspective to help me weigh my decisions and my capital to figure out what do I want to do from here on out.
Yeah, but also, like, sorry to interrupt you here.
No, please.
But yeah, to be honest, like, you don't need to know in which direction we are going to go next in terms for, or actually, you don't need to know where we go next for you to make money in the market. So yeah, we can right now for sure go towards the all-time high. But I think that for most people, most people are interested, is this a good level for me to be buying Bitcoin? And because we are at the all-time highs, at least in my opinion, it's not really the best area for you to be looking for a buy. Yeah, sure, we can pump towards $120,000, $150,000, but you still need to ask yourself, are you actually buying on a discount? Are you actually buying at the area of support? At the moment, we are at the all-time high. So in my opinion, this is simply not the best area for you to be looking for a buy. And also actually on your chart, Aaron, I just noticed that you had the RSI indicator. So probably you're also paying attention to maybe overbought areas, maybe some bearish divergences, right? Now, you mentioned if we do see a close above the all-time high, that is going to, for you, signal some kind of a bullish indication that we might be expanding towards higher targets. And yeah, but the thing is, like, look at the RSI indicator on the daily. If we do see right now another push up and Bitcoin closes above the recent all-time high, you're going to see a higher high on Bitcoin price action, but a lower high on RSI. So technically speaking, that is then going to be potentially a bearish divergence setup. Now, not only on the daily time frame, but also you can go, for example, on the 3-day time frame, where the scenario is looking exactly the same. If we close right now the 3-day candle in the next 1 day and 12 hours, it is still going to be higher high on Bitcoin, lower high on RSI. For example, look at the weekly. We are still forming this quite a significant bearish divergence. And right now the question is, how is the weekly candle going to close in the next 3 days and 12 hours? Because if we see a higher high, RSI at this area, it is still forming a lower high. And I also think not only the RSI is showing those potential bearish divergences, if you go with the MACD, for example, or on the weekly and also like on the 3-day, 2-day time frames, all of them, at least at the moment, are not seeing another higher high. Money flow, for example, there's quite a big divergence going to be formed in a case we are going to be closing the 3-day time frame, something like that. Also on MACD, yes, at the moment it is probably going to curve back up, but it is still going to be lower high, higher high on Bitcoin. So if you look like that, sure, we can continue higher, but the most important question is this a good area for you to be looking for a buy? Because we are seeing so many bearish divergences, I'm not comfortable deploying more capital in the market to be buying more Bitcoin, to be buying maybe also other altcoins. Yes, I am aware that Bitcoin dominance right now also, it is seeing this quite a significant bearish divergence on the 3-day, on the daily time frame, which technically speaking, I mean, yeah, we could start an altcoin season, right? But if Bitcoin is going to underperform, if Bitcoin is actually going to maybe even start crashing below 100,000 US dollars, to be honest, I also do think this bearish divergence on the daily, on the Bitcoin dominance chart, is not going to be like any super bullish indication for the altcoins. And also on the other hand right now, lower low on the RSI, higher low on the Bitcoin dominance chart, which technically speaking, it's potential setup for a hidden bullish divergence, why Bitcoin dominance can continue rising higher. And probably we could be even looking for a bigger push up towards this quite a significant area of resistance at approximately 70%. So at the moment, yeah, as you said before, I would also be slightly more cautious right now. Personally, I'm not deploying any more capital in the spot markets, at least as of now, because I don't feel comfortable going and buying altcoins once Bitcoin is trading at the all-time high, and potentially also maybe even going to confirm the rising wedge pattern, maybe even some of the bearish divergences on the RSI indicator, and also knowing that Bitcoin dominance chart, if you look like that, could still rise even higher towards the 70% area. Like, also, Aaron, what do you think about the Bitcoin dominance chart? Do you think it has a potential to go higher, or do you think an altcoin season is starting?
I think it'll be an altcoin week. I think maybe it could be an altcoin fortnight, but I don't know about a full season, like 3 months of alts just running and rampaging. Again, I mean, it does depend heavily on stablecoin dominance falling in tandem with Bitcoin dominance. I know what you're talking about too, as well as those divergences on Bitcoin dominance the main thing I'm looking at is Bitcoin Dominance's weekly chart, and specifically seeing, I need to pull it up so I can make sure I'm not talking out of my butt. There we go. Seeing lower highs that are also appearing here. I'm gonna swap screens with you for a quick second. So yeah, going over here to Bitcoin Dominance. Let me just hide this. So Bitcoin Dominance is on a huge tear, right? It's just massively bullish. It's going to take so much for Bitcoin Dominance to show any signs of topping out because it's just super duper bullish. But these other indicators aside, just looking at, no, not this one, RSI. So like we maxed out on Bitcoin Dominance, in my opinion, back over here on the 23rd of October, funny enough, when we had all of the spot ETF hype. So Bitcoin Dominance at this time was at 88.35. And then the next high that we got was recent, actually, April 28th at 84.27. So there is a shining glimmer of hope, and it's a super long-term shining glimmer of hope, but we're seeing continuation of Bitcoin Dominance going up higher and higher and higher, and we're starting to see lower highs, albeit it's not that it's not that incredible on Bitcoin Dominance's weekly chart because it just keeps pumping. But one thing that I do keep watching and waiting on is signs of weakness for Bitcoin Dominance, and RSI is a good indication of that possibly forming, but it's still like a super flimsy thesis, I guess you could say. And I mean, based off of what you're saying too, like, yeah, I agree with you a lot. I really feel like 70% for Bitcoin Dominance is a really reasonable target based off of 2019 July, and then another push that we saw in December. So it's, yeah, the daily time frame, sure. I think we're going to get a little bit of a push for alts, and we're seeing that happen right now with a lot of them super duper green. But I don't know about a sustained alt rally necessarily, which I know not everyone wants to hear, but that's kind of the state of where we are right now. Like I've been telling people, take profits. If you're in the green just a little bit, take a little bit of profit out. I'm super conflicted with that too, mainly because I know from my experience trading in that the beginning of the rally is the best time to use way more size. And if you wait too long and you let the market convince you, no, this really is a bullish impulse, you really should be adding more. Most people enter with too much size, either towards the 60% mark or like the 80% mark of any rally. Most people are always adding in way too much size, way too late. So I'm a little bit not conflicted, but I'm looking at this going, gosh, I really would love to see a continued alt rally, but I'm just struggling the slightest little bit. Now, I do think that Bitcoin, if it can close above, literally close on the candle, not wick, but close above 112K, that it will hit 121K. That's my next target. And if that happens, Bitcoin will lead the rest of the market to higher highs. That's the scenario that all the bulls want to hear. The bears don't want to hear any of that. So it's good that we're going back and forth and you're sharing a more bearish scenario and I got the bullish side.
Yeah. But like you mentioned the $120,000 for Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
This price target also for me, it's quite a significant one. Of course, if we actually continue higher, because if you just quickly share my screen for a moment, like you can notice that in case this right now continues higher, we don't see any breakdowns, the rising wedge pattern gets completely invalidated, we break it towards the upside, we can talk about, yeah, pretty much as you mentioned, $121, $120, $123,000, quite a big area, because in that case, we go from low, we can actually measure the target with some Fibonacci extensions here, towards this high and back towards the low. And in that case, we are talking about, yeah, pretty much as you mentioned, a super bullish scenario. And also probably altcoins are going to see quite a significant push up. And exactly as you mentioned, 1.618 Fibonacci extension price target is going to land at $121.2 thousand. So this, of course, would mean summer months are going to be bullish. But of course, right now, it pretty much, it's a waiting game, in my opinion. Let's see what confirmation we are going to get. Are we actually closing candles above the all-time high? Or maybe are we going to see some candle closings below the value area high? In that case, we are looking for lower. But yeah, as you said, if we want to see a candle close above the all-time high, we could be looking for higher targets, 120, 123, something like that would be a very nice target for you to be looking on Bitcoin. But also, yeah, Ethereum and also many other altcoins probably are going to be pumping as well. For Ethereum, like we are already breaking so big resistances towards the upside. And yeah, for the past couple of days, it is definitely seeing a bigger push up versus Bitcoin. And also one thing about the altcoin season and everything, Bitcoin dominance is one thing, right? But also you can see how Ethereum compares to Bitcoin. So Ethereum Bitcoin chart, if it's actually going to start performing well, if we actually see some bullish market structure, higher highs, higher lows, I actually also think that the altcoin season, or not like, as you said, most probably not like the entire altcoin season, but the altcoins are probably in a shorter period of time going to outperform Bitcoin itself. So let's see if Ethereum Bitcoin chart is actually going to be able to show us some strength. At the moment, for example, if we zoom out on the weekly time frame, yes, we hit the monthly high term time frame level, but look at this chart, like it's not really trending up, is it, right? So we cannot really talk about any strong uptrends on the Ethereum Bitcoin, especially if you go with the exponential moving averages, like on the weekly, on the daily, we are still in quite a significant downtrend. So if we right now say an altcoin season is starting today, in my opinion, we are purely guessing. We are not going of the data, because Bitcoin dominance still in an uptrend. If we right now say we collapse here, we are guessing that the trend is going to end. And additionally, we are also going against the bullish indications on the RSI indicator, which is right now showing this hidden bullish divergence setup potentially. So I really do think Bitcoin dominance probably is going to continue higher. Ethereum Bitcoin chart probably is not going to perform as well, and that is why probably the altcoins are also not going to like super outperform Bitcoin as much as many people think.
Yeah, long term. Yeah, I agree with you there, guys. I'm looking at the stream right now, and I'm so excited that you guys are all here with you again. If you're watching this post stream, after the stream is not live, it's not dead stream, but it's a done stream. Make sure to hit the like button. It sends that signal out to the algorithm. Share this as well if you have socials. Go ahead and retweet the posts that are on X. Leave a comment with coins that you're interested in. I am seeing some coins, some tickers popping up, which is good. We are going to be looking at those. Don't worry, we're not just going to be talking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance the entire time. It's not a Ben Cowan stream. So let me know what you guys are interested in. I see a couple of them. I want to go back to the very, very tip top to see. And I think actually one to talk, no, I think it's just BitcoinHyper, but it is interesting. So, I mean, how much are you into like altcoins? Because we were talking a little bit before, like, do you know what's happening with like memes and stuff like that, or like top 10? Like where would you rather start?
Like in terms of the altcoins, for sure, I do trade altcoins. I'm also right now in quite a lot of trades on different altcoins. That is why, of course, I do technical analysis on, for example, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano. In terms of meme coins, I do hold a long position on WIF, for example. So, I definitely do trade also meme coins. I am not really a believer into them. I don't think that I don't really think that they have, of course, they do not have any use case long term. But for sure, if we are going to enter like a crazy altcoin season, probably meme coins are also going to perform quite well. And I wouldn't hold them for a long period of time, but if you can make money from them, why not buy them, right? So
what coins do you feel like are could you take a second to think about like 3 coins that you feel like are worth, like they have value, they actually do something, they solve a problem? And then 3 coins, maybe, I mean, it's not to be exactly 3, but some coins that you can talk about where like they're more memes, like they're great for trading, but not necessarily for long-term holding. And it doesn't matter if people get upset. They're like, no, that's whatever. That's my coin. I love that coin. Like, don't worry about stuff like that.
Yeah. So like for long term, I really do think Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. I would not look, I would really like for long-term holding. We are talking about, I don't know, decades, maybe even, right? I wouldn't even touch Ethereum. I wouldn't touch XRP, Cardano, Solana, Sui, whatever. I would go only with Bitcoin. But if you think that, or actually if you want to make money in the markets, of course, Bitcoin is probably not going to give you the biggest return. And with the altcoins market, I really think you need to time it quite well. You need to buy, but also, even if you're a believer in Ethereum, even if you're a believer in Solana, Sui, whatever, usually you want to be selling once the price is increasing, because you can see what happens once Bitcoin crashes. The altcoins market is going to crash even harder. So if you go on the weekly, for example, the last bear market, even Bitcoin itself, it dumped 77%. Doesn't matter what altcoin you're going to look at, all of them dumped more than 77%. So if I would right now say, what are my top 3 altcoins for you to be buying for long term? There is none of them. It's only Bitcoin for long term, for you to be holding for years, for decades. However, if you want to make money in the crypto market, you definitely need to sell once we are going higher. Most people, unfortunately, do not do that. Most people do not take any profits. And at the end of the day, they continue holding the back, which goes pretty much to zero. And that is why, in terms of the altcoins, I would be very cautious with them for long term. But if I would be buying right now my altcoin back for me to make money, but of course, you should not forget to sell, we can definitely look at the projects, at the ecosystems. I'm very bullish on Sui. So you can look at the different altcoins on Sui. In my opinion, one of the best ones here is Deep USDT. It has performed quite well already in the past. It has also gotten a correction here. I'm not sponsored or anything by it. I'm just looking clearly at the chart. I look at the project, and if the project is performing well, that is why, I can show it right now. Deep, in my opinion, a good one. If we talk about maybe some other projects like Tau USDT, I'm also actually quite a big fan of this one. I do think it can perform very, very well in the next couple of months. But in terms of the meme coins, for example, I usually I don't really have like the biggest back of meme coins, because you can make money from them, but to be honest, in terms of spot holdings, at the moment I think I don't hold any of them in terms of spot. However, I am long on different altcoins, including WIF, for example. And also, I think the one that a lot of people talk about is Fartcoin. So this one is, you can see that it has been performing quite well for the past couple of months here. And I also do think if some kind of an altcoin season is going to start, this one is probably going to perform quite well.
Another one that's done really, really well recently too is Pengu. Pengu had a huge rally. What was it? In late June, moving up basically over like 2 days, up 64%. And today it's pumping yet again, up 25%. I don't know if you know anything about Pengu. I don't do deep dives in the companies, the projects, the whatever they do. I don't really care about it too much. I just care about the price. But Pengu, I know that they've had lots of huge announcements. Like they have the plushies, they rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. Like they're actually like a legit-ish company. So I think people are going to start seeing meme coins looking at Pengu's success, thinking, gosh, maybe we should do something like that. Maybe we should do actual real world collectibles instead of NFTs. Gasp.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you on this one. Like, in terms of the fundamentals, I have no idea what they are doing outside the chart, I would pretty much say, because I actually do think there is quite a lot of data that you can pay attention to in the chart itself. And right now, yeah, for sure, we are pumping higher. And also Pengu right now, if you look at this chart, yeah, I would agree with you. It does look quite bullish. It also does look like, yeah, maybe we can come slightly down here, but then continuation towards the upside does look slightly more likely in this case, especially if we are purely talking about the trend. On the 4-hourly, 2-hourly, 1-hourly, we are definitely looking bullish here. We could be looking for higher targets. And also in terms of the Elliot waves, for example, you can notice that on the daily, you got an impulse right here, you got a correction, and right now probably if we actually, I mean, if Bitcoin is also going to behave itself a little bit and not actually see like a big dump, probably Pengu can also perform and continue higher. But in terms of the spot holdings, like, to be honest, I don't really hold any of those meme coins. It does look like this one can go higher. Yes, you can make money out of it, but I would pretty much long it. Yeah, sure, you can long it, but of course not here. If we do see a correction back down, ride the wave back up. And once again, do not forget to pay yourself to take profits, because a lot of those altcoins, even if it's right now Pangu and everyone is talking about it, if the bullish news are coming in, probably is going to see a bigger correction once Bitcoin is also going to correct. So you really need to be careful with pretty much all of them.
Yeah. So let's talk about Solana. I keep seeing it pop up in the chat. And by the way, guys, keep the suggestions coming if you really want us to talk about your ticker. Just I'm not saying to spam the chat, but let us know. Like, I'm keeping an eye on things, okay? Oh yeah, thanks, newbie. That's what it was. Pengu was also approved for an ETF, which is stupid.
Oh.
And I have seen there was someone that was sharing like an investment thesis for even SPX 6900 for like a real legit like multiple million of dollar investments. I can't remember what it was for, but it was for like a private equity company. And someone is talking about it to their boss, and like they just wrote it up. They wrote up all this stuff, and it's insane. Like, hopefully they actually bought it, because I mean, SPX shot up a ton. It actually moved above 100 or a buck $50, $100 one day. But anyway,
wow, that's kind of crazy if you look like that.
Kind of crazy. Well, you can tell the truth. Yeah. Why don't you take a look at let's do Solana, because I see that one popping up a lot.
Yeah. So also with Solana, yeah, it has gotten quite a nice push down, like directly into this quite a significant support area with the golden pocket, with the daily, with the monthly levels. And right now, like when you zoom in, this specific price action, at least in my opinion, doesn't really look like super impulsive. Sure, we can move higher, especially if Bitcoin is going to move higher. Solana is also going to continue higher, but like talking about the impulse, is the volume actually coming in the market at the moment, especially if we zoom out on the daily? Like, you be the judge, but at least in my opinion, we are seeing some kind of a push down here. Volume on a push up is decreasing, which could suggest we are right now still in this some kind of a corrective stage, which means that would you be looking to buy Solana at this specific area? In my opinion, personally, I am not buying here. I literally, not sure if I have a screenshot right here, but yeah, I am in a long position on Solana, but I also took some profits literally yesterday once Bitcoin formed another all-time high. So if we right and do some technical analysis right here, we can remove literally everything, and we talk about this those high-term time frame areas of support and resistances. Now we have the monthly area of resistance at $231 US, which is quite a significant level, especially if you look at the historical data. We had the previous all-time high here before we got this correction, and also we only wicked higher above the recent all-time high. We closed once again below the recent all-time high, and that is why we do have right now this monthly high-term time frame area of support. We also, I think, the monthly was just missed right here, so that is why we still do have the monthly high-term time frame support level, and then we can drop on the weekly. Weekly, we have the weekly high-term time frame area of support, or actually resistance here. Then we have another support level. Let's move both of those levels directly in the folder. And also, we can talk about the daily levels. So we have the first daily high-term time frame level coming in here, another daily support level coming in here, and another one slightly lower at approximately $140 US. So I usually start my analysis always by looking at the higher term time frames, because usually higher term time frame, not usually, higher term time frame does have more data in it. The candle on the daily does have more data than the 30-minute time frame, right? Because of course it was opened for a longer period of time. That is why usually you want to look at higher term time frames first before you zoom in on the 4-hourly, 2-hourly, and 1-hourly time frame. So those right here are going to be our very important levels you should be aware of for the next couple of days, with the first level coming in, the daily level, at approximately $165 US. Now, another thing I have been using recently is the Anchored VWAP. This specific tool, man, it has been performing so nicely. Let me just show you right now a very quick example on Bitcoin, because this specific tool literally nailed the bottom before we started moving impulsively back up. So we can anchor it. Usually you want to anchor it exactly at some very important pivot. So you can anchor it exactly at the low right here. You can anchor it at the all-time high, for example. You can anchor it before we got this insane push up. And you can see that all of those anchored VWAPs on Bitcoin aligned exactly at the low before we got this quite a nice push up of approximately 6.4%. Now, let me also share with you this one, because you can go with another anchored VWAP and you can anchor it exactly at the low here. Where did Bitcoin bounce? Like, beautifully, exactly at the anchored VWAP, we got a push toward the upside. So that is why once you're analyzing different altcoins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever altcoin you're looking at, I would definitely go high-term time frame levels, anchored VWAPs, volume levels, Fibonacci levels, and then simply you're usually looking to buy at the area of support, sell at the area of resistance. That is why right now, is this the best time for you to be looking for a buy? In my opinion, no. Are we at the support level? Clearly not, right? So what we can do right now, let's go with the anchored VWAP. Let's anchor it exactly at the low here. You can see how nicely it has been respected. Right now, it's coming in exactly at the daily level, where this area right here, it does also align with the recent low at approximately $148. So the first support level where you can be looking for a potential buy is going to be this specific area of support. Now, we can also anchor it, of course, exactly at the recent high. So we can go with this high, for example. We can go with this high, for example. And you can notice that, yeah, the level that has been respected for the past couple of days is going to be this specific anchored VWAP. We got a break towards the upside. So right now, we are looking for another one. And the next one is coming in exactly at the daily. And this is exactly what you want to see. You want to see more levels aligning together. Daily, anchored VWAP, and also if you look like that, the recent high on Bitcoin on Solana is going to come in approximately at the exact same zone. So potentially we can see a push up right here, take the liquidity above the recent highs, and then do see another push down on the Solana chart. So with Solana, I would right now, similarly as on Bitcoin, would be more interested to fire another short position. Would I short right here? To be honest, not really. Because first of all, as I said before, on Bitcoin, I would still be slightly more careful. Let's see if we do see a confirmation acceptance below the volume level, and if the rising wedge pattern actually does see a breakdown right here. However, on the Solana chart right now, if Bitcoin does go higher, Solana does also go higher, and that is why I would definitely be aware of the area of $164 right here, because this specific level is going to be the first important resistance level. Now, another thing that I just noted and noticed, if you go with Fibonacci from the high back towards the low, where is the golden Fibonacci ratio landing? Like, you can see here how nicely everything ties together. And we are right now making a very simple plan. I'm not guessing up, down, left, right. I'm simply saying, if we hit the level here, you set an alert at this specific area, and we are going to hit a significant area of resistance. Now, think to yourself, is this area going to be a good level to buy or sell? If it's the area of resistance, usually you want to be selling. Of course, we don't have 100% probability the level is going to hold. That is why risk management, stop loss placement is also going to be very important. However, at the area of resistance, at such a big level, it does make more sense for us to be looking for a sell right here. So again, I am not going to guess right now if we are going to break the level towards the upside and go to, I don't know, $200, $300. I am trading from level to level. I am making a plan, and I'm simply making a decision based on the actual facts, based on actual data, because the data shows this level, it is a significant level. Now, before I actually mentioned deep USDT, right? This specific altcoin, just right now to throw it out here, yes, we broke a big diagonal area of resistance towards the upside. But what is the next level that is coming up? You can actually see right here, I have an alert set on deep at approximately 17.5 cents. Very similar level as on Solana. Golden pocket, liquidity, anchored VWAPs, point of control, the biggest volume cluster of the entire ranging price action coming in exactly right here. So guess what I would be doing right here? Potential short position, paying myself on my long positions, and maybe even selling some of my spot holdings. But just one thing, Solana and also Deep, both of them have quite a significant area at approximately $165. So before you actually mentioned that potentially in the next couple of weeks, maybe 1, 2, 3 weeks, whatever, we could be expecting still higher. If this is going to be the case for altcoins, I would definitely say that this specific area is going to be the level you should be watching for, and potentially also trading if you're maybe interested going with a short position.
We got about 10 minutes left, guys. All of you that are here, we're going to still look at a lot of these tickets that people are asking for. But before we do, thank you again for liking the video. Thank you for sharing this video. Thank you for leaving a comment. Thank you for interacting with the video, guys. We are going to squeeze as much, we're going to extract as much value as we can out of this last remaining 10 minutes. Let us know what you want us to talk about next. Now, I did see someone spamming GRT, the graph. I feel like we got to give that to them. And yes, useless, I agree with you as well. People are talking about useless a lot. I don't know if we have a good chart for it on TradingView, but I'll prep useless. Why don't you go ahead and take a look at GRT USDT?
Well, okay, so yeah, like I was also a holder of this altcoin for quite some time, and guess what? I did not take any profits on this one. I did not pay myself because it was at the early stages of my cryptocurrency journey. But yeah, you can see this one was pumping so much towards the upside, $2.8, and right now we are at 8 cents. So this clearly shows that with majority of the altcoins, once you buy them, once you see that you made a good money of them, I don't know, 2x, 3x, 10x maybe even, you need to pay yourself, because we are not in this game for free. We are not in this game to just watch the chart and hope for the best. We need to be disciplined. We need to pay ourselves, because if you don't take profits, like I am going to take them from you. So that is why you really need to pay yourself when you see that you are making money with certain investments, with certain altcoins. But yeah, with this specific altcoin, we came into such a significant area of resistance in March 2024, and since then, everything has just been towards the downside. That is why we can right now identify what are our next important levels for us to be aware of, and also, is this actually a good area to buy? Now, I would say like that, in terms of the, just like looking at the chart, is a good buy or sell? I would say, because we have gotten a big push down, of course, it's better for you to be looking for a buy position and not really a sell position. We went from the all-time high, if you look like that, 96% down. So yes, it's a correction, but you also need to ask yourself, is this actually a good project? What are they actually doing? Is actually going to perform well, or is it better to put my capital into different and other altcoins? To be honest, personally, I'm not deploying any more capital into this specific altcoin, because it is the altcoin from the previous cycle. I do think other altcoins, more newer altcoins, are going to probably perform better than the old ones. And I think that in the, I wouldn't really say an altcoin season, but like the altcoins that were invented or that were released back in the days, for example, Chainlink, Cardano, Polkadot, they haven't really been performing that well, right? If you look at the newer altcoins, for example, I don't know, Sui, for example, maybe also some other meme coins, they have been performing quite much better than, for example, other older altcoins. But yeah, in terms of GRT, like you can go right now on the monthly time frame for us to identify if we are actually trading at any important high-term time frame areas of support. And we can see monthly level, it is just slightly lower. If we do see another push down towards this specific support area, of course, it is then going to be another important level that you can be aware of and potentially be looking for a buy. Another monthly level right here, and also another monthly level at this specific area. Then we can zoom in on the weekly time frame. We have the weekly support level here. We are going to go with another weekly level right here. And also we can then zoom in on the daily time frame to see if we have any other levels here. Yeah, here a lot of levels for us to talk about. We have a lot of liquidity below the recent lows. We have another daily here. We have another daily here. And also we are going to go with another one exactly at this specific high. So locally speaking, those are all the daily levels I would be aware of. And also another one, no, actually I would not talk about this one. I would go only with the liquidity here. So let's move all of those levels into the folder. So those are right now, in my opinion, one of the most important levels you should right now be aware of on GRT USDT. Now, is this the best level for you to be looking for a buy? If you are planning to hold it for, I don't know, months, maybe even for you to wait for the altcoin season, I do think it could be a good area for buys, because we are actually trading still at some, at the levels, and we haven't really gotten a pump here. So because we haven't gotten a pump, usually it is a good idea for you to be buying. But of course, is this actually a good project for you to be investing in? Can this project actually give you good returns? I don't know. You be the judge for that, because to be honest, I'm not exactly sure what the team is doing right now with the project. But would I fire a long position right here? To be honest, not really. If I would be looking for another trade on this one, I would like to see a push down because, of course, again, I am looking to long at the areas of support. And you can see here, we have one low, we have second low, third low, and also the fourth low. Usually, we want to grab as much liquidity as possible and then potentially do see a bigger bounce on this one. So I would be right now pretty much set an alert at the liquidity level. All you have to do, click here, click alert, bam, you're going to get a notification on your phone. You look at the chart once the alert is triggered and pretty much then make a calculated decision. Fibonacci from the low back towards the high, golden pocket coming in exactly right here. So let's say like that. I'm not saying it cannot go higher, but if we go lower here, we have a nice support level. We can be looking for some kind of a long quantity buy position here, proper stop loss, proper risk management, looking, of course, potentially then for higher targets, especially if Bitcoin is going to behave properly. But yeah, in my opinion, this right here is actually quite a nice level. Let me also see right now if we do see any volume levels at this specific area. If we go right now with value area low and point of control, value area, yeah, it's below the recent lows. I would say, yeah, it's a very nice area. I would pretty much pay attention to the liquidity level because if you want a good entry, usually the best entries are after we take out highs and we take out lows. Also, for example, for Bitcoin, before we got this insane reversal back up, we took out the low, we stop out as much people as possible that have stop losses below the low right here, and then we see a reversal. It happens every single time. So if you right now ask me what are the best levels for you to trade, are always going to be liquidity levels because market makers need to fill their bigger positions. And how can they do that? They need to, first of all, stop out people. And if you are in a long position right here, you're going to be then selling at this specific area and you're going to be selling to people that are prepared to buy. So the trading is a zero-sum game, right? So if someone sells, someone usually also then needs to buy. And if you then get stopped out of the trade, bigger player fills their order and we pump it back towards the upside. That is why with GRT right now, if you look at those levels, the first liquidity level coming in exactly below the recent lows, golden Fibonacci ratio, of course, if we actually do see a push down. If we continue higher, we can be looking, first of all, actually, I think this specific high still hasn't been taken. Yeah, so the first liquidity level is going to be this specific high, with the next one being at the daily, the recent high, approximately 10 cents. But yeah, the game plan on this one, very simple: buying support, selling resistance, looking at the liquidity levels, taking calculated risks.
Yeah, amen to that. I'm going to show Useless real quick because someone else was asking for that guy. I don't know if you know about this coin, but it's a crazy meme coin that has literally shot up since the beginning of June till now, almost 5,000% in a month, which is insane. And I think the best part is that I like meme coins that are honest. The coin is called Useless because it literally does nothing. I think it's brilliant. Like, it's all in the marketing, right? The one thing that I look at when coins are going parabolic like this is I pay attention to see, are there big changes in volume? Now, MEXC, I don't have anything against this exchange necessarily. I really ideally want to find the exchange that has the most trading volume because that's going to give me the biggest understanding of volume in general and how it's being distributed, especially on a chart that's just going parabolic like this. The one thing I will say is that Useless does have a pretty insane pump actually yesterday. Oh, I clicked the wrong spot. I mean, again, this is just MEXC. If I were to find Useless on KuCoin, I imagine we're going to see something similar. Yeah. So that's encouraging. It's not the same amount, but seeing a huge pump like that, a huge burst of volume is good. But that's typically a sign of danger, in my opinion, at least to me. I mean, the chart, if we think about the fact that it's already up basically 50x, and it's not even from the low is a lot lower. And seeing daily RSI putting in a high here on July 2nd at 96.49, the burn, the Useless. Like, that's insane. It's going to have a really difficult time exceeding that high. I personally think that it's basically not going to. But the market's going to do what the market's going to do. If people really like Useless and they're going to keep buying it, they can. I think from this point, basically being at its all-time high is almost echoing what you were saying before about Bitcoin, where it's dangerous. I don't know if I'd want to open up a new long here for BTC, but for a meme coin that has shot up so much, typically what happens, in my opinion, let me just finish my thought. I don't see it useless necessarily pumping up another 1,000,000%. But because it had a significant pullback down 30%, actually really 40%, it would make more sense to see a chart like this chop sideways. I would not use leverage on a chart like this, even if you had a gun to my head. No way. It's just too volatile. You don't even need leverage with a chart like this. But keep an eye on RSI, keep an eye on volume, because those two are going to tell you enough without all the other extra indicators. Now, we had some really good questions, actually, that I want to share and talk about right now. Let me go ahead and remove myself. Cool. These are actually really, really good. This one here is from Dennis. It says, is it a good time to buy on spot for the next couple of months? Now, my guess is Dennis joined the stream late, which is no shame in that. It's okay. It's not like showing up to church like 20 minutes into the sermon. It's okay. But he asks, and I'll let you answer this one. Is it a good time to buy on spot for the next couple of months? What do you think?
Actually, a very good question. And also, yeah, I have been getting this question also on my channel for quite a lot. But yeah, I would say you pretty much, as we explained, Bitcoin dominance chart and also Ethereum BTC chart itself, both of them are going to show us if an altcoin season is actually starting. Now, if you're asking right now, is it a good time to buy spot Bitcoin? I would say pretty much no, because we are at the all-time high. Sure, it can go higher, but I would say usually you want to buy once we have a discount. Now, yeah, sure, we can pump towards 120, but usually, if we do see a push down, I would say Bitcoin spot buy a good idea. In terms of the altcoins, is the altcoin season starting? Is good to buy Solana? Is good to buy Ethereum, XRP, Cardano? I would be slightly more careful with all of them at the moment. However, the best strategy is to usually dollar cost average in the market. So buy something right now, buy something today, buy something next month, next month, next month. However, you should really then, once you're in some kind of a profit, also be selling and taking some profits. Now, the altcoin season, or in terms of the cycle, as you also, I think, mentioned, Aaron, that you think the cycle is going to end by the end of the year. Yep. I actually would agree with you on this one, because in terms of some other charts, a lot of people agree that we could end the cycle, the 4-year cycle, by the end of 2026. So if you're going to be holding the altcoins, usually you would then want to sell at the end of 2026, because probably the cycle is going to end. But if you right now ask me, is it a good time to buy on spot for next couple of months? I would say dollar cost average into different altcoins that you believe are going to perform well. All in right now, in my opinion, definitely not. But
or ever.
Yeah, but if we do see then a bigger push down, I would say buy even more.
Yeah, wise advice. We have another really good question here. I mean, I can answer this one. Does anyone know which exchange a common person, a commoner, can trade with margin or futures or leverage in the USA? Yes. There's links in the description of the video for CoinCatch, for 2bit. Both don't require KYC. Both can be used in North America. What is your exchange of choice, be it non-KYC requiring or otherwise?
Without KYC, I would go with BitUnix. This is the exchange that I've seen a lot of people have been using quite actively, because they have been growing quite a lot for the past couple of months. And without KYC, at least in my opinion, as of now, one of the best exchanges you can go with.
Well, there you go. There's the answer. Dude, this has been an epic stream. I'm so glad that I could snag you for an hour and just pick your brain, have you throw up some charts and share some of your insights with all of us today. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys need to hit the like button if you haven't already to show your appreciation. If you want this guy back, let us know in the comments.
Of course, Aaron, thank you very much for the invitation. Hopefully, I was able to share some good insights at what I'm right now looking at on the entire cryptocurrency market. And if, some people are right now going to smash up the like button, potentially we can also do a similar live stream in the next couple of months, especially if the prediction right now, like the bearish prediction, is going to play out. So let's see what happens next. But yeah.
If it does, I'll wear a muscle shirt. One of the pop-up ones, and I'll go ahead and just pop it live on stream to show that I was wrong, or do something humiliating like that. Cool. Thanks, man. Thank you so much. And you guys, thank you for tuning in and joining us today on the live stream. Until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.